Okay, guys, we come back to the chapter 1. On the chapter 1 is going to be very informative on writing the report. And if you are good at that, I hope you will also have very good score on your lab report for this course. The learning objective, the one is to understand how you write an appropriate lab report. That's the only thing that we like you to have. The content of the lab is going to have the cover sheet. I will talk about the latter. The statement of the problem, the material apparatus, and method of testing. The second and the third item you may copy from the laboratory manual. And the fourth, you're going to present the summary of the test result. All the test result that you have during the test, you're going to write it, do detailed calculation, and put them in the appendix of the lab report. But the summation going to put here. And the fifth, you got to write the conclusion and discussion based on the test result you have. Mostly, you're going to talk about the behavior of the material, how the material fail, what are important mechanical properties that you get, and then you compare with the reference from the, for example, from the Thailand Industrial Test Standard, the TIS. And the last one is the appendix that's going to contain a lot of detail on this. This slide shows you the cover sheet of the lab. Or it's going to be like this. I like to recommend you guys to come to the TA room. Beside the TA room, there are a lot of lab. You may use them as the example. Please pick the one that get the high score. Don't pick the one that get low score. That's bad example. The cover sheet is going to contain the lab number and the name of the lab. Your name, your student ID, your group, and the date of perform, and the due date of this lab. The second part you copy from the lab manual is the statement of the problem, the objective of the test, the scope of the test, the standard test method. And the other thing about the material apparatus and method of testing also can copy from the lab manual also. Okay, from this slide, just make a copy from the lab manual. The next thing is important. You got to summarize on the test result. What happened is you get to have a lot of data. Okay, detailed calculation. You got to pick some important thing. For example, if you do the tension test, you got to show us the state diagram. You got also to show us what the mechanical property that you get. Okay, so this part will contain table or diagram or graph or chart, and then you pick up some important thing for showing us. And then you do some discussion and conclusion from the graph that you have. By using this, you got to talk about the behavior of the material, the relationship between various studying parameters, for example, stress and strain, the failure of the material is brittle or is ductile, and how to utilize the obtained extra results in your real-world structure. You got to specify some important points in this discussion and conclusion. You should talk about the accuracy of your test results compared to the standard. For example, if you test the structural steel with the SD24, that means your structural steel is supposed to have at least 250 megapascal or 2,400 kilograms per square centimeter. And if you get the result so much different from that, you got to make some discussion. It's maybe due to your error, or it's maybe due to the testing machine error. So you can conclude the reliability of your obtained test result. Everything you get, you got to explain why it's different. Okay, and you should write clearly and concisely, covering all the objective of testing that you previously write on the first pages. In the appendix, you got to put some specific test method for the reference of your laboratory. And the Appendix B, you got to put all the testing result. Appendix C, you're talking about example of some important configuration. And Appendix D, you got to put some reference mechanical property. Okay, and there are some specific important Thai industrial standard that you got to follow. And you also need to compare with the American standard of testing and material also. Some important material, okay, you may pick up from the textbook, and you may use this for the comparison. For example, the velocity of elasticity, the using strength, the Poisson ratio. In writing the laboratory report, you get to take really caution in producing the graph, the chart, and the table. All of them supposed to be in very beautiful condition. And after that, you may explain what you have in the graph, in the chart, and the table to give some precise material behavior to us. Also provide us this failure characteristic of the material. Some may be very brittle, immediate failure, or some may be very ductile, take very long time of testing before the material fail. And also you got to tell us about the relationship, for example, the stress-strain relationship of the material. You explain things you're supposed to do is concisely, clearly, accurately, cover all necessary aspects. The TA will tell you about that. And the abbreviation and symbol must follow the textbook. That means you just follow what you have from the mechanics of material. And your writing style and format is supposed to be in accordance with all parts of the report. Mean the size of the letter, the space between line, those kind of things supposed to get together. Abbreviation and symbol, just follow the textbook we have. The table, you got to write clearly, both symbol and unit. The figure, you got to write carefully because a figure can tell 1,000 words. Everything can explain by using a clear figure. So a good graph or figure should be first the vertical and horizontal axis supposed to be clear what is represent, and also the unit of it. The scale supposed to be properly scaled. Each data point is located accurately based on the scale you use in the second item. And the fourth, the graph line must be clean and clear, and you should use different line to separate the thing that you like to show. Okay, and the line can be one with a dash line or the one with all the line like this. So you should follow 6 important points to draw a graph, and all the lab here you got to draw the graph by your manual drawing. Okay, so going in the lab, 1 point for the pre-quiz. So we have another 9 points left. The 9 points separate into 6 points and 3 points. What the 6 point is? For the 6 point, the report must be accuracy and complete with the testing result, discussion, and conclusion. You should not copy from your senior about this. And then the reports must be clear and clean. I mean, for beautifulness of your report, that's going to be 3 points. Okay, the important thing is on the 4th item. If the report do not follow item 1 to 3, it may be rejected. The rejected reports must be correct and turned in again within 3 days. That means you have the lab on Thursday. If the lab is report, you got to turn in the lab on the next Monday. And then the maximum score you may get from the turn in lab is going to be 6 out of 9. And if you not turn in the lab, you will get the 0 score. And if you get 0 score from the 30 labs, you will get automatically F. Okay, this you got to take your own responsibility. Okay, that's all we have for the chapter 1. If you open the PowerPoint, you may get detail about the laboratory 1 and laboratory 2. I will talking about these 2 labs in detail after we go to the lab after Songkran festival. Okay, I like to finish here, and I will post the clips into the Google Classroom later. Okay, bye for now.